All right. What is up, guys? Zach Ginn here.
Rick Ginn here.
And we are currently live from Orlando for our XLeads X-Plan Mastermind. And we are here with Korey and Evan. And they are both making $100,000 a month in their wholesaling real estate business. And what we're doing today is we are going to be interviewing you guys. We're going to know more about your business and more about how you're doing this and how everyone watching this can do the same exact thing. So pretty excited. So obviously we're our X-Plan Mastermind. So if you have the X-Plan on XLeads, you get to come meet me and Rick for free. We just let anybody of the X-Plan come here for free and hang out, give people food, and help out in wholesaling. So
yeah, just community.
There we go. So if you don't know, this is Evan Hamilton. This is Korey Whitley. And so let's bring it off for you. So first and foremost, who are you guys? Where are you from? How do you get started wholesaling? Why are you here?
Yeah. So I guess I'll go first. All right. My name's Evan Hamilton. I'm from Pennsylvania. I actually started in real estate watching Zach probably back in like 2020, 2021-ish, and didn't take any action up until like the 2022, 2023 area. And then from there, it was just me putting in the effort, trying to make deals happen. I kept taking advice from Zach and Rick, met Korey, started implementing some of the things that they were teaching me, and cracked off a couple deals. Then came to one of the community events and was working with Korey. And now Korey and I currently, run the 100 or 100K plus
7-figure.
Yeah, every single month. So that's pretty much my story. I just kept going until it worked. So
yeah. Awesome. And how old are you?
I'm 24 years old.
24 years old, 7-figure wholesaling.
Yep.
Pretty dang good.
All right, guys. My name is Korey Whitley. I've been following Zach and Rick for about 4 years now. I started wholesaling at the end of 2021. And, I've always learned pretty much exclusively from them. Started out completely broke. Did my first deal with Zillow Fizbo. Zach gives me a hard time about it to this day. He didn't think I was going to be able to move the deal, but
okay. Hold on.
Made 5K.
All right. It was 3 years ago, 4 years ago? 4 years ago. Yeah. By the way, I'm 21 years old. Yeah. You send me a deal. You're working at a glass factory? Glass plant. You lock up a Fizbo for $50,000. 40. Okay. 40. It was listed on the Fizbo for $50,000. Yep. You lock it up for how much? 40. So you lock up a $50,000 Fizbo for $45,000. You come to me and you say, "I got a deal, Zach."
Complete noob.
I'm like, okay.
I was like a whopping 3 days into my journey.
And I'm like, I don't think this is something that I want to JV and bring my buyers on. And you're like, oh, okay. And you call me, 2 weeks after?
About 2 weeks after.
And what do you say?
Close my first deal, baby.
I was like, wait, how much? I'm like, how much?
Yeah.
How much do you make? 5?
Yeah, 5K. 5K.
You lock it up for the Fizbo price.
Yeah.
And then you sold it for the Fizbo price.
Yeah. You can't make this up, man. That was my first deal.
I don't want to tell the people this.
No.
They don't need to know this.
No,
it was a bad idea.
Yeah, that was like extreme luck example right there. But
so how did you find that? So you worked at a glass plant. So paint the picture for everyone watching this.
So I was working like 12-hour swing shifts, absolutely terrible work, like backbreaking at a factory that makes flat glass for like houses, cars, things like that. And I seen one of Zach's videos on TikTok originally, and I remember it was about driving for dollars. And I was like, there's like some crappy houses down the road from me, so I'm going to like look into this a little bit more. So I just started searching wholesaling real estate on YouTube, and it was just showing me all of y'all's videos. I was like, okay, so that's my sign from the universe that I need to follow these guys. So I started watching a bunch of Zach's content and, started looking into driving for dollars, but I was like, man, I need a deal now. And I remember at the time he was talking a lot about Zillow for sale by owners and stuff like that. And you were doing some videos calling them and everything. Yeah. So I was like, let me just see if there's anything even in my market that's Fizbo. And I looked and there was like maybe 10 properties listed on Fizbo. And I seen the one and I was like, it was definitely a tired landlord. It was an old rundown rental. It needed a ton of work. And I was like, I called the guy, he's seen reasonable. I was like, I'm going to shoot my shot on this one. Worst case scenario is I'm back at square one and I'm only a couple days into this journey. So what's it going to hurt? So went on the appointment, negotiated with the guy, made him an offer. And he just looked at me and goes, you just bought yourself a house, son. And I'm like, oh God, it's real now. So like I said, that was 4 years ago. Come a long way since then and been learning from Zach and Rick. Like, they've really poured a lot into me, and I definitely owe my success to them today. And, met Evan along the way, and he's been great to work with. And now we have a really good operation. We're popping off deals every month like clockwork, and, everything's going great. And so owe it all to these guys in their community. So.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. So, all right. So first, you guys are making pretty good money wholesaling. So we got to talk about more about that. But basically, I don't know if you have any questions for him, but basically,
yeah, I think there's good backstory. So I go back to Korey. So a lot of you guys don't understand the M2M program that we have. I used Korey as like my first test case, him and about 50 other people.
Well, explain this. So like we had people inside of, freewholesaling.com that like they need more help.
Yeah.
And we're doing JVs with them. We're like, hey, like, well, what if I teach you for free and you just like give us some JVs on the deals that we help you?
Yeah. So
that's what it originally was.
I reached out to Korey. I go, man, Korey, we did a couple of success stories. Says, Korey, like, do you want to make like real money? He goes, what are you talking about? I make like 20, 25 grand a month. It's like, it's life-changing money. I go, dude, you can't, you are stuck. Yeah. And for you, we got to get you to the next level. And so I showed him a few techniques, and we actually partnered up, and he didn't pay me a dime. And I just gave him coaching, and I said, listen, if you question one thing I said, I will not work with you. And he did everything up to that point, and everything was going great. And then he called me out of the blue. He goes, Rick, I got a life event happening. I got to take some time off. I go, dude, that's not the plan. I go, life is always going to happen to you. What's the deal? He goes, my wife's having a baby and I got to be there. I go, I'm not telling you not to be there. He goes, we just got to put on everything on hold. I'm going to get this kid out, get everything squared away. I go, you put this on hold, I'm firing you as my business partner. He goes, what are you saying? I go, just suck it up and get it done, because wholesaling does not care what's going on. And you should have more pressure now than ever to take care of this kid. Take the time, plant the seeds. I'm not telling you to work 14 extra days. Put in like 3 or 4 hours and get this done. He's like, okay. And he's like, how am I going to tell my wife this? Rick's going to make me work through this. And I just said, the key is you can't stop. When you do marketing and wholesaling, don't you find a lot of people like they turn it off, they turn it on. And long story short, then I told the next phase is I go, Korey, you need to get someone to help you. You're running out of time. I go, you got more deals than you have time to do it. Find someone. He goes, well, how do I do that? He goes, do I go on Indeed? Do I go, no. You got to find somebody within the community that talks wholesaling that will follow your commands. And he goes, how do I find it? So we went through a few people right off the bat. We tried. It didn't work out. And then I don't know if you guys connected before the event. I think you guys talked online a few times or no?
No, that's the first time.
So he came to an event, and along Evan comes. And Evan's with his good buddy, and it was just like, and Evan's just like, he's trying to suck up all the information he can
on crutches.
And Korey is smart. I go, Korey, this is where this is like, you can't get a better platform than this. And so Korey, you reached out to what, 3, 4, or 5 people at that event?
I think 4 or 5 people.
And so Evan can kind of tell us how it went from there.
How did that go?
Yeah, so I met Korey at the event there, and it was actually funny because
this was like 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, it was like 3 years ago, and he came up to me, and I was standing there with one of my good buddies, and he comes up to me and goes, first thing he ever said to me, which I'd never spoken to him a day in my life, he goes, look at this beefcake.
Because he was standing here, and they were standing there like puffing their chest out and everything. I was like, look at these guys back here, man. Who are these guys?
And it was funny, and I kind of gave the story and where I was at in my wholesale journey to Korey, and he started breaking down things that I should be trying out, things I should be doing, what I should really be focusing on to be successful within the space. And so what I did was Korey ended up just privately giving me his contact information and said, hey, if you ever need anything, reach out to me. And of course, what did I do with that? Anytime I needed something, I reached out to him.
He took it 100% literally.
I took it 100% literally.
Well, you did that with me.
Yeah.
When you were getting started.
I just returned the
back in the day, 3, 4 years ago, you were able to hop on a live stream and talk to me once a week usually. Anyone could. Now you can't do that anymore.
I think at one point I was even able to get on there like 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah, 3 or 4 times a week.
Exactly. I go, who's this Korey guy?
Yeah.
He just
Never showed his face.
Stop.
I didn't see his face for 2 years, and you just showed up every day and asked me questions. You were relentless until you started making like 6 figures.
Yeah.
So just letting you know. Then he does the same thing to you.
Yeah. So I wasn't really mad about it. I was like,
Yeah.
look, I just have to return the same value that was gave to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the way I look at it. You know, if you talk to me 3 or 4 times a week and you do what I say, you're bound for greatness.
It was
Right?
actually,
And so if he just talks to you 2 or 3 times a week,
Yeah.
he's bound for greatness.
Yeah.
So explain to everyone when you came to the event, right? Where were you in your because you're all obviously on crutches
Yeah.
with Nate, struggling.
Yeah.
I think you fell out of a tree or something.
Yeah.
Or something.
Pretty banged
So
up.
yeah, I what I did was I used to be an arborist, so I climbed trees for a living, right? I got hurt climbing trees and tore my ACL. And actually, the funny story is one of the first events or YouTube lives that I ever got on with Zach and Rick. I got on there and I said, yeah, I was out setting bandit signs. You know, like, you're on crutches. I was like, yeah, I know. I was out setting bandit signs. I'm trying to make this happen. So in that part of my journey when I met Korey, I had like $700 in my bank account. I spent all of my money coming down there on an Airbnb and a plane ticket. And
Like
by the time I got back from the event, I was like, I have like $32 to my name. I got to make it happen. So I had Korey's contact information. I had bandit sides. I had some leads coming in. And I'd call Korey and I said, hey, I got this going on. Can you help me answer my question? I even called him one time when I was mid-negotiating with a seller at the property. And I also, I brought a buyer there later that I spoke to Korey, asked him what to do. He's like, this is what you need to do now. Like 5 minutes later, I did that. I was like, hey, what's next? I'd call him back. And then I brought a buyer to that one property and I signed it and ended up doing a deal on it. But at that point at the event, that's where I met Korey and everything just started to go up from there. Knowledge is power. And if you can be and surround yourself in the right communities and just talk with people, you'll learn so many little gems that will push you so much farther, so much faster, rather than just trying to do it on your own. So just meeting these guys, being able to talk to them, it's all, it's worth more than you guys can imagine. So,
Oh yeah. And so basically from there, you guys basically were starting to work together, right?
correct.
Yeah.
So
He came and started working for me. So after the event, I gave.
where were you in your business before he came in?
Before he came
Yeah.
in? So I was doing a lot of mail with Rick,
Yeah.
a lot of direct mail. I was probably doing 30, 40K a month, maybe, I would say, looking back, doing a couple deals a month. And, but I was pretty burnt out. Like Rick was saying, I needed somebody to help me get some time back. I was answering all the calls from the mail. And that's like, some days we were getting like 15, 20 calls a day. I was going on the appointments, making offers, handling dispos, like pretty much doing everything myself. And at the time, I even had a couple hotels and like some light rehabs that I was doing. So I was kind of dealing with all that as well. So I was just like completely kind of burnt out on that. And I remember telling Rick how we got into just doing the mail was I told Rick, I was like, I'm doing a bunch of deals with like driving for dollars and like government lists and like the sweat equity ways. Yeah. And I was like, I need to try to get some time back. I want to get some inbound leads. Like, what should I do? And
You've done a bunch of reverse trying for dollars too, right?
Yeah. He told me about direct mail and I was like, I trust you, but I don't know. Like I've heard that it's not that good. Like, I don't know. And Rick was like, just give me 90 days and trust me. He's like, just trust me for 90 days and I'll change your life. And I was like, they haven't led me astray yet. So, okay, I'll trust you. And like looking back, that was definitely the greatest decision I ever made in my life. But anyways, once Evan came on board, I was doing good. I had another partner at the time that was kind of working with me, but was doing good at the time. Evan came in and he started picking up, answering the calls for me.
Yeah.
So that gave me a good opportunity to be able to pour into him the types of things I wanted in a good like acquisitions rep and help him develop like strong conversational skills and good closing abilities and things like that. And I remember it was maybe like 2 or 3 months in, I was like, he's an absolute beast on the phone. And I was like, I've got to run with this. So then, we just kept doing more and more, and he started picking up more and more roles in the business. And then the opportunity arose for him to become like my actual direct business partner. And I offered it to him and he was all about it. And then we've been like going hard in the paint since then.
Just been bouncing ideas, scaling, implementing.
There was,
systems.
there was good value that he was able to bring to me and good value that I was able to bring to him. So it was a natural fit, and my strengths complement his and vice versa. So, we really are a good team together, and it's just been great.
Yeah.
Well, hand me that. I want to show you guys something. So,
Oh boy.
if you think about the whole thing, is in 2003, I just decided I can't. I've tried this 9 to 5. I tried everything my parents told me. I just threw in the towel. He was 3 at the time. Okay. So we were in Texas. I did a presentation. I go, I'm presenting the first, second generation of wholesalers.
Yeah.
Because I made that decision in 2003, I just decided to get way out my comfort zone. Obviously, I was able to spend time with them. And when you spend time with your kids, you can actually show them the way instead of telling them the way, because I was told my entire life. My parents did the opposite. They did the best they could. It is what it is. So we're all dealt with the cards. It doesn't matter if he came from a glass factory. He was climbing trees, dangerous stuff. They always knew they wanted more.
Yeah.
And it's not about who's the smartest in wholesaling. It's who will work the hardest. And we've been taught our entire life, only smart people make money. I hire the smartest people. So in 2003, I made a wild decision. My wife supported me. It was 50-50 if she was going to like, are you crazy? And then I taught him the business. You guys know the story to that.
Yep.
At 16, we really got into it. I taught him in high school how to make 100,000. So he didn't have to go through the pain I did. And then Korey watched the video on probably my son run it, just going crazy on TikTok. And then he connected it here. So just one decision, if you watch how life works and how it catapults into what you do. And I mean, these guys they're super young, in my opinion. They're going to make a ton of money. And at some point, everybody just has to take a risk and go, hey, not everything will always work out. But if you consistently show up in wholesaling, it's hard not to make it. So I took a risk. He obviously took a risk. He did what every other kid was not doing in high school. You took a big risk. Your wife's probably looked at you sideways, right? A little bit. And then Evan's looking at it, and at the fortune meeting, Evan's girl at the time, and she's been super supportive. And it's hard to do this business when people don't support what you do, and a lot of people don't give credit to it. When I started out wholesaling, my wife supported me. I was still working a full-time job. I was in way over my head. I thought there was no way to get out. But one decision, if you look at what's gone down this line, and these guys are going to hire a ton of people, and they teach me a lot of stuff, and it's fun. And I love bringing them in our community because I know they're going to help out. They'll make a ton of money while doing it, and it's extremely fulfilling. So when we started out on this venture, like, are you guys crazy? You're going to give the information for free? I go, hold on. We have a plan here. We had like a 5-year plan, and they go, everyone's going to poo-poo on us in the beginning, but in the end, they'll all fall in line. And this is like a direct result. Now we can do some serious damage to the business and help many people out. How can I do more deals? I got to get people to help me out. And I trust these guys, and there's not a lot of people I trust in the business. And they pretty much do anything I ask them within reason. And we just work well together. So I love real estate because you can choose who you work with. But guys, one decision, that's all you need to do to change your life. But you actually have to follow through and do it. I've watched his pain, and Evan's pain, and it's just fun to watch the whole thing. And at some point, you just have to make a decision to get out of your comfort zone and just do the business. You are not doing what the normal thing people do is. It's not normal, in my opinion, to sit behind a desk all day. Working for yourself is hard, especially the first couple of years, but if you can get through it, the payoff's tremendous. So I appreciate you guys for taking a faith with a video, especially my son's crazy TikTok stuff. Yeah. I go, and I sometimes, like, I'm the father, I go, what are you doing? Why are you screaming on the thing? What the hell's going on? He goes, Dad, if we can just save one person, I'll change their life. And you watch the net effect of it. And now I get it. And so I learn a lot. These guys have brought systems that I don't even think of. I'm like, okay, well, let's give them the software and let's all work together and share the information. So I appreciate it.
Well, really quick, think about this, right? You taught me how to wholesale for free. Mm-hmm. And the catalyst of all this was basically you taught me for free when no one else should be teaching wholesaling for free back then, right?
Yeah.
Then I said, okay, well, it's unfair that I learned for free. I'm going to teach people for free. Evan had no money. Korey had no money starting out somebody. So I'm teaching them for free through you, right? And so this whole catalyst of you guys having success in me is all because of one person who decided to teach me for free. Then we get it out to the world, which is pretty dang cool. Yeah, and then guys, I teach everything for free at freewholesaling.com. You want to make 100K wholesaling, you go to freewholesaling.com, the word free, the word wholesaling.com, freewholesaling.com. You will learn how to make 100K all by yourself. You do not need anything else. That's it. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say something. It's actually pretty funny. The first person that I saw between these two was actually Rick.
There we
and I
go.
saw him on YouTube, and it was before any of the fancy editing, and it was just Rick at his desk with I remember it very vividly. He had a blue dress shirt on, and it was like a white background. And I'm listening to him, and I'm like, all right, I have no idea what he's talking about, but it sounds legit. So I started researching them a little bit more, started watching them, and I just spent a lot of time, watching their videos. I'd be at work, right? And it's a part of having that supportive, community, family, friends, my old lady. But the idea was I'd be at work, right? I'd be at work and I'd be watching these videos, and they always tell people, don't tell people your plans, just do it. I was the opposite of that. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm telling everybody. I was like, you wait till I quit this job. You have no idea. I'm never coming back. And people would at work be like, yeah, that's not going to work out for you, pal. Yeah. And I kept working at it, and I'd fail, and I kept working at it, and I'd fail, and I'd quit my job with like a little bit of buffer money to play with, and then I'd fail, and it was because of me not jumping on every single call with Zach and Rick, and I was like, I'll just watch your videos and figure it out when I could have just asked them the questions, but I just kept failing and went back and got another job, got hurt, and I was like, you know what? Every single time I failed, again, it was like falling forward. Like these guys said, I learned something new. I'd go back and talk to them, and I did a deal. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to the event, and then I'm gonna try to meet and just talk to somebody, and talk with Zach and Rick, and then hear this 6-foot clean cut guy just comes up to me, making fun of me. Why ask me why I'm a beefcake? And now here we are. It's just you have to. I can't believe I said that. You have to stay committed. Like if you guys are gonna do anything, just trust the process. Don't let anybody discourage you. Because at one point I almost actually did quit, and I had a backbone, which is my girlfriend at the time. And, we're here, and I'm, just all these guys just told me never to quit. And, here we are now. So
Girlfriend at the time?
Well, this is my
same one.
Sorry. Same girlfriend whole time.
We're going to clarify.
Actually,
this
the funny thing
the
funny thing is, before I get in trouble.
The first girlfriend was no.
So it was actually funny because she was 100% supportive in my whole journey on this, and I actually had. I'm not ashamed to admit this. I had several times where I got overdrafted in my account, and I had to borrow money off of her. And as a this might sound wrong, but as like a man, that like takes a hit on your your manhood, and it was really hard for me to do that. Like I'd have emotional moments where I'm like, honey, I'm not going to ask you for any money. She's like, here, just take it. And I was like, should I just go back and get a job? And she's like, no, like you're this close. And I kept going. By the time I'd racked up $2,000, I had racked up $2,000 of her money. And I'm like, I wouldn't even be mad if you actually like left me because I'm like broke. And she's like, no, you're going to make it. And then lo and behold, here we are now, unbelievable, cracking off 100K months, and, just supportive community and supportive people. That's, it takes a lot. So
I think like the common denominator between everybody is like, Rick, I know when you started, like you had a really strong why. You wanted to give a better life to Zach and your wife, and you wanted to just kind of escape the matrix and break your cycle. And kind of the same thing for you, Zach. You had a really strong why. You seen how well wholesaling had treated your parents and everything, and you wanted that similar kind of life, and you wanted to change other people's lives, and that became the why that you fed off of. And when I got started, like I was not happy with the life that I was providing for my wife and my beautiful children. So I wanted to better their lives. And I used that as energy to, feed off of on the days when it wasn't easy and when I was discouraged. And now, the same things, like you had a really strong why. You wanted to provide for your family and your significant other and everything. And pretty much it's like if you have a strong why and you stay committed to a process and you just buckle down and just do it, my personal opinion is like wholesaling really is for everybody. Because like I was not an educated man whatsoever when I got into wholesaling. I had never even owned my own house. I had only ever rented a house in an apartment. So, I hadn't even bought my own property before. Had no clue. Like no one in my family came from money, has any experience like with real estate or anything. So I was as green as they could get, straight blue collar worker. And I feel like probably like maybe the same with you. But I was like, hey, Zach and Rick are just putting it all on the line, trying to teach us, change our lives. Like I owe it to them to give 110%. Worst case scenario, I fail, and I could say I failed giving it everything I had, but didn't fail, right?
Well, let's talk about that. Okay, so when people tell me, I'm going to fail no matter what, like statistically, I've shown this from hundreds of thousands of wholesalers I've taught, and you now know it, and teaching people too sometimes. Like, if I give you I think I told everyone today, it's like a 3-point shot.
Yeah.
If I gave everyone in here a basketball and we're at a hoop, the question is, it's not if you can make a 3-point shot, it's how many shots do I need to take?
Eventually they will. Mm-hmm.
And the interesting part about it is the more you do it, the better you get.
Yeah.
And so if I give everybody an hour to make one 3-pointer, half of them could do it, half of them can't. If I gave them 3 days, if I gave them a year, it's inevitable, right?
Yep.
And so the thing is, this way I look at it is people are like, do you think it's even possible for me to make a 3-pointer? Like, yeah. Like, I mean, pretty much anyone can. Like, they've got people, they got the wheelchair basketball leagues. They're shooting threes all day. There's no problem with that.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, with making money in wholesaling, it's always just reverse engineering it, right?
Yeah.
It's and I always view it as I like car analogies. It's so simple. It's like, how long till I get to 100 miles driving? It's like, well, how many miles per hour?
Yeah.
And you just do some quick math.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, how do I get to 100K a month? That's pretty dang easy. It's like, okay, well, make these many calls, these many texts. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the money for it. I'm like, okay, well, get your first deal. Then you go to the next one, right? And so I guess my question for you is, let's reverse engineer your whole business right now. So 100K plus a month, right?
Correct.
What is your current marketing looking like now? Volume-wise, KPI-wise, and everything, so everyone can reverse engineer it and basically steal it and destroy your business.
I mean, we could just collectively do it. Let's put it in the middle.
Go ahead and start.
Yeah. So Korey and I, obviously, Korey learned direct mail from Rick. So that was, and it still probably continues to be, our main marketing strategy.
I love direct mail, guys. I mean, it's a great inbound strategy if you know how to do the front end, which is what I learned from Rick. And then I even kind of put my own tweaks into it as far as systemizing it with cadences and all that good stuff. There's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes. It's not just blasting postcards out there. And there's a lot of changes that has came about in direct mail over the last couple of years, things that we've tried, things that we've tested and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And we still are trying to even make it perform even better now, just through continuous improvement. But direct mail, it works great for us. We send the marketing campaigns out. We have motivated sellers calling in. So we have the catalyst of, we're getting leads calling us today that want to sell within the next 30 days. And that's always great. Do a couple of those a month. But we also get call after call of just really quality follow-up leads that we may do a deal on them within the next 3 to 6 months. So it's like our pipeline, the more we do it, just starts to compound over time. Yeah. And it becomes really powerful after you've been doing this for a couple of years.
So how many direct mail pieces roughly a month now?
Between 10 and 12,000 is a typical month.
Okay, so how much of a cost is that roughly right now?
Depends on who the vendor, but you're probably spending between 6 and 7K. Yeah. It's not bad at all. I mean, when you're
not bad at all.
Looking at, like, let's say even if your average assignment fee is like, $15K, you spend $6,000, make 30.
Yeah.
I'll do that every day of the week,
Mm-hmm.
We don't teach direct mail to everyone, by the way. Like, the reason with direct mail, and I want to make this very clear, and I know you guys know this too. If you give the keys to that, it's like giving
can't go back on that.
It's like giving a 5.0 Mustang to a 12-year-old. It's like,
you gotta be careful.
It ain't gonna go well, right? It's because you can lose. There's not much things in marketing that you can lose your money on. Direct mail is one of them. Because if you do not have your closing system set up, you have the wrong mark. Like, there's so many variables. That's why I guess I don't talk about direct mail on YouTube, like, ever. You got to be like in M2M, then we'll show you. But like, we won't even let you do direct mail unless you're like, okay, you've done 5 deals, you've showed competency. Then we can talk about it, because
it's not because we're like trying to gatekeep. We're trying to look out for someone else's best interest. Because, like Zach said, it's like you have to have your processes and systems like dialed in.
Yeah.
Because when that phone rings, there's somebody on the other line who has an expectation, whatever it may be, whether they're calling to cuss you out or they're calling thinking that you're going to close on their house fast.
Yeah.
So you don't really have as much time to figure it out. You have to kind of know what you're doing a little bit already, but
it can.
You want to tell them the story how I induced you to do direct mail?
Oh Lord.
He goes, oh my God.
Yeah, this is a good one.
He goes, are you
I think he told me he was
are you BSing me? He goes, I have to spend that much.
He's like, wait, you're like, how much for direct mail? I'm like, well, I'll coach you for free. That's what you told him.
Yeah.
It's like, how much? About $5,000.
I go, it's
$5,000.
He
He's
goes,
like, $5,000.
He goes, $5,000. He goes, are you nuts? I go, listen, here's rule number one with direct mail. If you don't look at the marketing expense as an investment and you look at it as a cost, you're always going to think like this. So this is one of the biggest lessons I get. There's two big lessons in direct mail. Number one, it's an investment. If I can show you a 5 to 6 times return and you put down 5,000, I can turn it to 30,000. You should be like, okay, it's like buying a stock, anything like that. And you have to understand that. And then rule number 2 is you got to hold my hand for 90 days. You're going to bitch, whine, scream the entire time. You're going to tell me I'm crazy and you're going to complain, but I just got to hold you down. You're like, okay. And then the other thing I do, I think back is you were like, I'm not sure. I got a pretty good gig here. I'm doing driving for dollars. I go, I tell you what, I'll split the marketing cost with you. Do it. I believe in you that much. He's like, are you crazy? You don't even know me. I go, we're about to find out what you're made of. I go, dude, I'm gambling 10 grand, but I don't know if it's going to pay off. And then you're like, I'll split deals. He told me, he goes, I'll split deals with you forever. I go, and after we got through it, I don't know what, the kid's just mailing me checks. I go, dude, like, Zach, I got to stop this. He took over all the mailing. He goes, no, I'll pay for it. And he goes, Rick, I'm loyal. I'll mail it to you forever. I go, I don't want that. I go, just go grow your business, find good people to help you out with it, and keep it going. When people start direct mail, I just try to get you a 2 times return on your money. If you went to Vegas, you would be very happy with those numbers. And so we have to walk you through from expense to investment, 90-day commitment because it takes more time, and then get you from a 2x to a 5 to 6 times return. And once you go through it, but most people will not take that risk because they're so scared. And I don't want you spending your last dime on direct mail. The reason we went with direct mail with him because he was having good success talking to people, and he was very confident in talking to people. And so he still does direct mail. Here's the truth of direct mail, guys. I deal with people all over the country. The biggest wholesalers, the one that's do the most business, 70% of their leads still come from direct mail. Why? Because it's the most scalable one you can do. And inbound leads, you can have someone answer the phones, vet them, qualify them, and they can actually lock up deals, and you can keep growing your business. There is an expense to it, but if you ever truly want to scale your business, now, I don't recommend starting out that way. I want to make sure you can get it done, but he's already ripped off the hardest part. So now he's filling in the gaps with niche list and all sorts of special stuff between PPL and all this other stuff. And it's just a variety of everything. You got to do every marketing avenue to truly grow your business. But if you truly want to grow your business, I know you guys think mail's dead. Number one, it's 100% legal. You do not get sued mailing people. And when they call you, you override all their permissions to contact them on their phone number via a phone call or a text. You can't get sued on it. So suddenly direct mail is kind of having a resurgence. I've seen it come and go. And I'm glad you got that one out of your way. So now he's methodical sending out his direct mail. And he has a schedule and he sticks to it. And he's reliable with it. So we came a long way from I go, dude, you just have to roll it up. And I'm like, Zach, how do we teach thousands of people to do the exact same thing? So we have different kind of calls on it, but we started M2M to develop people like Korey and Evan. I go, listen, I always tell everybody, you just got to help your sellers get out of their own way. Here's the secret. I do the same thing with wholesalers. I go, dude, and they'll go like this. Oh, I'm not that smart. I come from a blue collar family. I'm like, dude, I just need your work ethic. You can outwork anyone. Don't worry about outsmarting. Those people will just work for you because listen, here's the reality. Most people just want to be comfortable, but they're not. If you're comfortable, you're not free. If you want to get wildly uncomfortable, you can be as free as you humanly want. You think making 150 grand a job is freedom? They spend every dime and then more, and then they're a slave to it. And that's why people wind up with problems. So if you'll make that sacrifice and you believe in wholesaling and you'll do it, it'll reward you. Here's the cool thing about wholesaling. They don't care about anybody's background.
No.
Now he's super smart. I'll give it to him. I didn't get those genes. And you guys are just hard workers. So it's not, and you get wiser as you go along, and then you can pass these skill sets to your kids, your family. You can take care of your parents. And then, so I don't know about you, but let me ask you this. My wife goes, you ever pop that camera in front of my face? I will take you out. So every now and then she'll pop in the studio and go, say hi to everybody on the camera. She's like, so what's your wife say about ever being on a camera?
I really don't think that she would mind like to be on one of the, she was on the one video from the first live, but
My wife's like,
I think it made her like pretty wildly uncomfortable just being in the
I
spotlight.
remember the
But
first time you spoke, you were like, oh man, he's turning bright red. I think
Yeah.
he's about to explode.
I'm probably a little red right now.
Up there, I was like, yeah, she's actually pretty good.
yeah,
And it's just interesting to see. But wife goes, don't you ever put that camera up.
yeah.
But,
It's just crazy how it all works out because like now my son, he's 10.
yeah.
And he's starting to understand a little bit about what I'm doing and everything. And like he'll walk up to my desk and be like, "Are you doing a deal, Dad? Are you going to wholesale that house?" He'll see me looking up a property like, "Are you doing a deal on that house, Dad?" And he'll be like, "I want to be an entrepreneur when I get older, and I want to be in real estate too, Dad." And I'm like thinking, so maybe I can show this to my sons or my daughters one day and like continue it on, But I just think it's great that we live in a country that we even have the ability to go out and do this for ourselves. Most people don't have this opportunity, and we do. It's truly a blessing to me.
Yeah, it's funny. My girlfriend, she'll always like, "Are you recording?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Make sure I'm not in the camera."
Yeah.
I do not want to be in the camera right now. So it's but like, yeah, like Zach and Rick and we're all talking about direct mail here. It's one of those ones where it can be expensive, but it can be super profitable.
Very profitable.
And the reason you kind of just don't want to jump into it off the gate is because you need to have the systems. Zach and Rick and all of us talk about it like a lot in M2M about having a strategic follow-up system, because you're going to spend all that money. You better make sure every lead is accounted for and you work it to its utmost extent, or it's not going to be worth it. That one lead might have been the property that you got under contract that just paid for that whole campaign and doubled it. Right.
Absolutely.
So you got to have a really good follow-up process with that, which we give you guys all that. We break it down, to a T. So.
And I feel like that's why a lot of people say that. You'll hear people say all the time that direct mail doesn't work, but it's like, well, you just rushed into it with really no thought process, no system or anything. And it's like, then you outsourced the calls, or you don't even answer them live at all. Like you say, "Oh, just leave a voicemail and I'll call them back." That's a terrible idea.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to answer the calls live, be ready to take action on the leads when those people are most motivated to talk to you. That's obviously when they're calling, right? And, like Evan was saying, have a whole process with how to work your leads. Because I would say if we only focused on the deals like the right now sellers that call in, that's like half of our deal flow would be gone, because more than half of them comes from the follow-up.
Yeah. I know somebody in direct mail out of New York. I was helping another guy just from the community. I was giving him some tips and tricks and helping him out. And he was trying to work under a guy that was sending direct mail for the first time. He had a lot of money, but no knowledge on what he was doing. So he thought he could just pay to play, right? And he all he did was he ordered mass mail campaigns. And if a call came in and he missed it, he'd call it one time back and never touch it again.
Yep.
Or they'll just take the calls, and if the person is interested, they don't really have a follow-up system on exactly how to convert, and they're not writing stuff down. They're literally just winging it. You spend all that money, and if you're going to wing something, you're not going to get a great return. I'll tell you that now. So I've always appreciated how straightforward Zach and Rick have always been about how things actually, have to be. I like straightforward people, and that's why I resonate so well with these guys, because Rick's like, "I'm going to tell you how it is, and this is just how it goes." All right.
Yeah.
There we go. I mean, first and foremost, you're also really good at calling, texting, and the holder system too.
I do a little bit of everything now.
Yeah, you guys do a bunch of everything, but I think it's important to get a start with calling and texting first, and then
that's what I started with, like cold calling and texting. Just straight through Google Voice, like people search Skiptrace them, like had no money starting out, driving for dollars and government lists. And that's a great way to start. I mean, there's tons of motivated sellers in there.
Well, cold calling builds the framework. Like, in order to get comfortable talking to sellers on the phone, like let's say eventually you do to get to the point where you're doing direct mail. Well, you've already been cold calling for so long. So when that call does come from your direct mail campaign, you're already, accustomed to having these conversations already. You just have to make minor tweaks. So the framework, you build your foundation on these methods, and then if you want to, venture into others, they all compound together, and you can match skills from all of them. So
there we go.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's really cool. So again, marketing systems, right? So KPIs, right?
Yeah.
So I know how many calls you're getting in. Well, I know how many direct mail pieces you're sending out. So how many calls usually a day or a week are you getting from direct mail?
Varies week to week in like campaign area, but I would say a normal week, probably get 40, 50 calls a weekend.
40, 50 calls.
And that's like gross. So that's including like the do not mails and stuff like that. But a normal week, we'll probably get 7-8 leads in for the week that are
Those
decent.
high quality.
Yeah, they're qualified leads, and it's not necessarily like 7 to 8 that want to sell right now. Maybe they're going to be in a follow up for 6 months or something like that. But we're getting quality leads in every week. Varying situations, and that's just with the mail. And then we have some other marketing methods that we do that produce some more leads as well. And it all kind of compounds to get to the point where before you know it, you can do 5-10 deals a month easily, without even really having to push too awfully hard. You just kind of get it all going and you're just cruising, But Evan and I both, and I've always had this philosophy since I started. It's like, if you're comfortable, then that means you're complacent. And if complacency kills, and if you're not going anywhere, if that's the case. So it's like, we always continue to push ourselves to do better and do more and dial it in even further, and continuous improvement to the point where sometimes it makes us a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But we're like, hey, that means we're going in the right direction, right? So
yeah, we'll be sitting there like, okay, we just had like $150,000 a month. And be like, yeah, okay, that's awesome. Yeah, but how do we double it? What now?
All right, let's do it again.
Let's do it again, but let's double it, you know?
So you want to talk a little bit about some like the calling stuff?
Yeah. So I did bulk calling for a long time, but Korey and I mainly do a little bit more niche calling, right? So we take, you've heard Zach and Rick talk about this a ton, government list, and we'll take those,
run them through
our process of cold calling them, and just pull out like several leads from those methods. And what we do is sometimes we stack them against each other. We get a lot of motivational factors.
Yep.
Call those people. It's highly likely they're going to be looking to sell those properties. And from there, the conversation's pretty easy. There's really no reason for them not to sell it. And if you can be the problem solver in those situations that they actually didn't think were able to be solved, then you stepped in, solved the issue. Now you made 30 grand, right?
So I just said that too, like, be the problem solver. That's like a lot of people don't understand. It's like, it doesn't really matter so much about the marketing strategy. Like, I could go and buy a $30 PPO lead, or I could go out and put a sticky note on a house or whatever it may be, get some government list records, whatever it may be. If I can just connect myself with a property owner who has some problems, then I can offer a solution to that problem, and we're going to put a deal together most likely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And on these niche strategies, Korey and I, remember, higher motivation typically means higher assignment fee, right?
Yeah.
So Korey and I, our average assignment fee on our niche list is $30,000, like minimum. Like, it ranges from 30 to like 45,000 on average, right?
Yeah.
So
Tell those people the list again one more time.
yeah, so a lot of those lists are what you guys have got thrown at a ton. It's like the tax delinquent list, you have the vacant list, you have code violations, liens, pre-foreclosures, probates, right? If you get those lists and you start marketing to those, and you start to realize after you look into them a little bit, oh, not only is this a probate, but it's vacant, and it's also behind on taxes.
Yeah.
There's no reason that they wouldn't want to sell that property.
You
And
can
that's
find like
where-
some gold mines of situations. Like, so I'll put the viewers on some game real quick here. So it's like, you're gonna start out with like a tax delinquency list, like 2+ years delinquent, and
Are you pulling this from the county or from XLeads?
either one's gonna be fine. But I like to go straight from the county for mine, so it's like as fresh and as
Fresh as-
updated as possible.
Yep.
And
2 years.
yeah, 2+ years delinquent, because there's a ton of people that you'll find that they let their taxes go when you're behind chronically all the time. It's kind of like a middle finger to the county, They're like, but anyway, so we start with like a 2+ year tax delinquent list, and we have all kinds of other lists that we'll get as well. So like our code violations, our water shutoffs. We can get like vacancy data from XLeads and stuff like that. Pre-foreclosures, like all the main ones, right?
Yeah.
And we'll take that tax delinquency list and we put it into the system with all the other lists that we put in, and we're looking for records that are on more than one list. So if we have a property that's tax delinquent and it has code violations and it's got a water shutoff, I guarantee you it's vacant as well. So that's 4 factors on that property. Like, that's a deal waiting to happen. So we go out and we look for those specific types of situations, and that's exactly what we're targeting. And then we have a specific marketing sequence that we take them through once we identify those opportunities that works really well.
No contact is not an option.
No, yeah, on these types of records, when we have anything that's 3 tags and up, we call them tags, but 3 motivational factors and up, our motto is no contact is not an option with that lead. We are reaching them or somebody associated with them in one way, shape, form, or fashion.
So what are you doing? Texting them, calling them, going to their house?
So we start with calling, and they'll get a couple attempts. We have a whole sequence for it. Then we're going to move on to SMS. And then after SMS, if there's still no contact,
What's one of the scripts you use?
for calling or SMS?
Texting.
Depends on the situation.
Like if it's like
Yeah.
a big tag list, do you hit them with do you want to offer, or do you try to like intrigue them and then you try to like get them on the phone? Like what's your process for the texting?
So the first text is just obviously establishing contact and knowing you're talking to the right person if you haven't gotten on a call with them already.
The main goal is always to get them on the phone, regardless.
So
yeah.
So the first text that I'll send which would be like pretty much how it would open up to like a brand new cold call. I'll assume I'm talking to the right person. I'm like, hey, like let's say in this case his name is John. I'm like, hey, is this John? And then if they respond to me back, yes, then I'll start approaching the topic on, hey, John, I saw that you might have some association with this property here. I was wondering if you could, help me out with it. And like,
You want to build a lot of intrigue. So they're curious, like, who is this guy? Like, texting me about my property. Like, let me just call him and see what he wants.
And then at that point, you're like, you mind if I just jump on a quick phone call with you? And then you get on a phone call with him, and then you break down the rest of the conversation.
By the way,
with
doing this
him.
virtually.
Correct. I do all my deals virtually.
Let's talk about this because people get real crazy about virtual wholesaling. They think it's so complicated. All
It's
these
not.
It's
So
just the same.
well, I will tell you, virtual wholesaling is way harder than in person.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone tells. So I'm curious to hear kind of what's your process for closing people virtually, because you do a lot of virtual closings. Obviously, you'll go on the appointment too. But like, what's your process for virtual wholesaling? Especially thinking about a lot of people watching this, like, I'm so confused. I'm so scared.
Yeah. So the process for virtual wholesaling starts off like any other process, whether you're local. You want to establish what marketing strategy that you're going to use.
Yeah.
And then you try to master that strategy, right? So like if you're going to do cold calling, don't bounce between a bunch of them. Really try to narrow in and dial in a cold calling campaign, right? Once you get those leads, you can start having those conversations with the sellers and get the motivation out of them, get the price and all the information that you need to know. The tricky part that a lot of people run into, and the reason they avoid virtual wholesaling, is because they're like, well, how do I go see the house? Well, there's a couple ways that you could do it. One, you could reach out to somebody. Korey and I recommend sometimes Facebook groups, but you have to be careful and absolutely vet these people to a T. Sometimes we'll even send disclosures to these people. And then you could also just try to JV on a deal with somebody that is also local to that market, where they'll be like, oh, I can just go over there. You guys get a JV agreement put together, right? Which would just get turned into title company. If you're willing to split half of your profit just for somebody to go out there and take a look. Mm-hmm. So there's a couple ways you can do it, but that's the best way to get a bird dog to go out there, or just have a JV partner. The rest of it's pretty simple. It's just building that relationship and building the rapport with the seller the same way you would in person. And then having a representative of you show up. They don't really need to have a conversation. You can just let them know, like, hey, I'm actually out of town for a little bit. I got some things going on. Unfortunately, I can't make it. However, I can have my partner swing over real quick just to take a quick look. And then I'll be able to give you a call once I'm back, or, maybe once he sends me the information on it, and let you know what we're thinking. Yeah. And then from there, it's the same way you would talk to them in person as far as trying to close them, right? You reference some of the things going on with them, what they were needing to get, where you need to be in order to make it work. Mm-hmm. And if they're questioning it, you can kind of give them options and let them know what you think the best avenue is. Like, okay, maybe, you could go get more money this way, but just think, like, if you were to list it, you might have to put money into the property. There's all these different factors that go into it. It's just closing the same way as you would in person. And Korey can, advocate for this. I have had several times where, like, I've talked to people over the phone and I was getting ready to, to work them down on price. And I'm just having a conversation with them, list out their issues, and I tell them, like, hey, I'm, quite a bit under that, right? I haven't even seen the house yet. I'm quite a bit under it. And I already dropped it down 70 to 100,000 just on that initial phone call. Like, I can negotiate. Yeah. Korey's had people where he's like, yeah, dude, I just don't know, like, how we're going to save that.
$50,000 discount before I even went to the property on this one. And I'm like,
yeah,
Spill it. He called me. He was like, man, I got this lead in. Like, I know what you're going to say, but I think I can work the guy. And I'm like, well, you better bring me back like a way lower number than that, or we can't do anything with this. And he called me back, like, I think it was just a couple hours after that. Mm-hmm. And you're like, hey, I got him down to $150K and set the appointment. And I'm like, all right.
This is no lie. And
so how are you getting them down?
Yeah. So it all comes down to like the pre-qualifying and just and being reasonable up front. Return on time is just as important as return on investment, in my opinion. Yeah. Right. So how I explain it to people.
That story, like, the important part to know on that one is, like, that seller had like some real, like, heavy motivating factors. But it's like you can't knock a guy for trying to come out the best that they can in the situation. So like naturally, even though he was extremely motivated, he was still trying to get like the most that he felt like he reasonably could.
Yeah.
He was just completely misinformed as to what the value of the property was and what it was going to cost to fix it. He was kind of, out in la-la land a little bit. But Evan brought him back to reality and let him know like the severity of the situation. He was like, well, I don't have any option but to entertain this.
Yeah.
So, and that's where we ended up at, $150,000 discount off of the original ask.
So a lot of you guys are probably asking how I even approach that topic. You guys would get to that point like $150,000. I'm just not even going to talk to the guy ever again.
Yeah.
Right. So the way that I approached it is I said, hey, I know you're looking to get this. I'm just kind of curious, where'd you come up with that number? Now he has to justify where he came up with that number at. And if I don't see anything supporting that, I'm going to let him know that. Be like, hey, Mr. Seller, just from what I see here, and you can actually look these up yourself just to verify. Sometimes I'll give them the address, even though I know they're not looking it up, and say, this property is fully renovated and it only brought this, and it's actually 300 square foot bigger than yours, and it's just down the road, right? You give them reasons to justify.
That just brings credibility to your offer when you're able to articulate the reasons as to why your offer is what it is.
Yeah, and then from there, you just start using the things they've told you about the house. Okay, the house needs this, it needs this, so on and so forth. And with the way the market's swinging right now, we have to be pretty conservative. Prices are super high on materials and labor. And I just know that that's not something that we would be able to do. I'd have to be substantially lower than that. And with what you're looking to get for it, I mean, you can list it, you could list it as is and try to sell it. You might run into some issues there. You'll have to probably put some work into it. There's some things that are going to go into it. And it's just going to be a little bit of a headache here. So, this is just where I have to be. And if that's something you're willing to work with, I'm not here to waste your time or my time.
Yeah.
You just let me know, but try to let me know soon, because I have some other properties I am looking at. And if I use that money to buy those properties, I'm not going to have the money to buy yours. So, if you could let me know what you're thinking, and then on the call, they'll either tell you, or like the next day they'll call you back and let you know. So those are just ways to negotiate people down, just being honest with them. Just break it. Sometimes you have to go through the process of breaking the numbers down to them and letting them know why they might. You tell them they're out in la-la land without telling them they're out in la-la land.
Yeah. You see, like on this one though, I remember the guy, he was like, 3 or 4 years behind on his property taxes.
Oh yeah.
The house was extremely distressed. So how it didn't have code violations, I don't understand. But he also had some liens and judgments, and that's originally how we picked it up, because it was on 2 lists. It had liens and it had past due property taxes. Mm-hmm. And what we knew is that property, too much longer was going to go to the tax auction. He was running on borrowed time. And I believe you kind of mentioned that to the guy, like, hey, I don't want to waste your time, because here's what's going to happen if you don't figure something out here. And he was like freaking out. And then this is how it all tied together. I remember I think it was before I went on the appointment, but after that conversation, he actually got something in the mail from the tax office stating that he was going to go to auction. Yeah, so he started freaking out. And, but that just brought credibility to what you said. And he was like, I have to make a decision on this now, and they're getting ready to come to the house, so I need to make a deal with this guy before he leaves the driveway.
And that's the thing about being the problem solver too, is you let them know, hey, I've dealt with this in the past. Yeah, it might be a little bit tricky. We're going to have some bumps in the road, but I'm pretty sure we can probably get this done for you. Yeah. And what I asked the guy was, what I asked the guy was, you have to kind of make him see what the future might look like.
Yeah, this is good.
What happens if you don't sell it, and now now it just you got foreclosed on, or it just went to the tax auction, you got nothing out of it. What would be, and you ask him, would it make sense for you to, sell it now and, actually make something, or just run the risk of you never being able to make anything on it? You get auctioned off or foreclosed. And now they're thinking like, oh, it would actually make more sense to me. You don't tell them that, because you can't tell people anything.
No. Yeah.
It's better for them to come to the conclusion themselves, and that's why we structure it that way.
So you ended up telling the guy, I remember, that we thought from face level that we were going to be, under 150, maybe somewhere around it. We locked the property up and did the deal at $100K. Sold it for $135. And, I remember when I went on the appointment, I looked it over and I realized, like, man, we're still not low enough. This place is like toast. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, this is like $100,000 rehab here.
It was a lot.
And I remember, like, I'm never really the type to show a lot of excitement and seem desperate at the appointment. So I was, just kind of nonchalant, small talking with a guy, checking the house out and everything. And we got to the end. He's like, so what do you think? And I was like, sir, I'm going to be completely honest with you. And he was like, oh, here we go. Break my heart. And he already knew. I mean, he knew that the house was rough. And I told him, I was like, listen, here's what we're looking at here. And I broke it down to him, told him what we're looking at as far as numbers wise and everything. I said, listen, you're going to have to make a decision on what you're going to do with this house, and you're going to have to make it quick. You got the letter there. You know what's going to happen. Like, maybe there is buyers out there that would pay you more than I can, but I'm willing to pay you this, and we'll have this done within the next 14 days. Yeah. And I was willing to work with him on some other terms that he needed, such as letting him occupy the property for a period of time after the closing. So we gave him 30 days, held some money back in escrow and everything, and was able to really work with him, put a deal together that worked. And it turned out being a great deal. He sold the house, got his cash, bought a truck and a giant camper, and literally hit the road and left everything behind.
So that explanation from Korey and Evan is basically our philosophy that you have to help sellers get out of their own way.
In that case, really.
So it's like a child that's running towards a hot pan and like, Dad, I'm going to do it. I go, you don't want to do that, son. It's going to hurt really bad. Yeah. And sometimes people got to get burnt once, but I don't want people to get hurt. Him losing the house to an auction is going to destroy everything he's got. But sometimes they go, right, I'm going to do it. And I go, listen, let me help you out. Another thing I tell you is we constantly have to redirect people, even when they throw out like crazy prices. And you have to guide people. So I always look over motivation over price. So would you say most people that give us their first price, it's usually a BS number. And so if you overreact or you go, you're crazy, I would never pay you that much for it. I go, and here's what, when they throw me a number, regardless how stupid it is, I just simply go, tell me about the house. And so they'll start telling you about the house. And eventually, if you can get behind the story of the house, nobody chooses to have a vacant house unless you're like crazy, ultimately rich, and you have houses all over the world. And if you can get into the story behind the house, you can get the truth and you can help people get out of their own way. Another secret, a tactic I'll share with you. When they throw out outrageous numbers, your gut intuition is going to be like, start to showing them comps. And if you get into that, you kind of get in the realtor mode. Mm-hmm. And so I like the line is, how'd you come up with that price? Well, my friend's a realtor, or my neighbor listed their house. I go, well, listing and selling. What do you want to get out of it? I kind of go on that. But sometimes they give like crazy numbers and you have to redirect them. Remember, I'm helping the seller get out of their own way. I go, well, why don't we take a look and see what the house can afford? See if I can help you get close to that goal. Because they go, I need $500,000 to pay off my mom's debt. I need $300,000 because my kid's going to Yale. I go, hold on, wait a minute. Let's see what the house can afford, because I can help you with that. This other stuff, I'm trying to separate what you need personally, what you want and what you need. I'm here to assess the real estate and help you out. So the biggest thing we have to do is help sellers get out of their own way. You guys know how people do social media. Everything's just so perfect. And so when you do that initial call, they're either going to try to hang up on you. They're thinking, how are you going to screw me? And I just got to get past it. Yeah. And then once you do that, they shoot a price, go, hey, well, tell me a little bit about the house. And either it's going to usually go positive or negative. And if it goes negative, it'll lead to the story. And then once you get to the story, if you get that human connection with them, all you have to do is two things with these sellers. Once you get to the marketing part, which is the most challenging in my opinion, is you have to gain their trust by actually listening to them carefully. And then you actually have to solve their problem. If you can do those two things, anybody in the entire world can do wholesaling. I know it sounds simplistic. These guys have gone in much more detail how it works out, but like that's all I do. If you can't gain someone's trust, do you do business with someone you don't trust? You look at them with a third eye, go, how are you going to screw me? Yeah. And so most wholesalers try to bypass the trust. What do you need for the house? And they wind up playing realtor mode. And if you just take the time, take that investment in it, it won't work out with every one of them. But if you talk to enough people, eventually they're like, and most people that sell me a house, especially Zach, is simply they go, you know what? I could probably get more, but like you're just easy to work with.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of things going on with my life. If you will do exactly what you say you're going to do, I think we can do business. You are never going to win as a wholesaler in price. You guys agree with that?
Nope.
I tell them I can't pay you the most.
Yeah, we say the same thing.
Yeah.
We'll tell people all the time, like if they're wanting too much,
Yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah.
with what you're telling me that you need to get and what the property looks like and what
Yeah.
the market looks like, your best option may be to just put this on the market.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to deal with the showings. It's like, I'm just trying to be transparent here with you and tell you. But when we tell them those types of things, they're like, wow, he's going to tell me the truth, even if it means shooting himself in his own foot.
Mm-hmm.
So they start taking what you say with a lot more weight. It carries a lot more weight to it. And then you start breaking it down to them. It's like, listen, if you don't want to sell it, or you don't want to sell it on the market, but you do want to sell the property, and you want to do it off market, and you're going to sell it to someone like me, let's be realistic here. Like, tell me, Mr. Seller, what do you really need for the property? And that's why we're very adamant about always asking like what they need. Because you said it, Rick, needs versus wants, like that's two separate things. Like, so.
You can do all that virtually. I'll tell you guys the most I've ever talked to anybody down, and this was on land in Texas. The biggest discount I ever got somebody to come down was 6.1 million. I talked people down.
Oh yeah.
They wanted 18.9 million, and with these strategies, negotiation tactics, I talked him down to 12.8 million dollars. So you can do these low ARVs, high ARVs. The strategies all work regardless of what the number is. It's it's psychology and it's just truth. So you can do it virtually or in person. It's all the same.
People will really kind of kill the deal for themselves before they even get started just by showing desperation and not be willing to just be honest and walk away from the deal if it's not a good deal. One thing that comes to my mind, and this was a deal that we did not long ago, like myself and the seller was in the driveway of the house. We had looked at the house. I already knew I had a deal on my hands. It's just the question was, how big of a deal are we going to get here? Mm-hmm. And I remember him telling me, he's like, well, I don't really need to sell it, but, I'm kind of, just tired of dealing with this. And I told him, I was like, well, I don't really need to buy it either. I've got plenty of other deals going on right now. But if we can work something out that works for both of us, I'd be more than happy to buy this house from you, sir. And I can get this done for you in the next 10 days.
The way he looked at Korey when Korey said that, he's like, I don't need to buy it. He's like,
but here, I'll tell you guys though, this is the good part about that story is after the closing, we walked out of the title company and he was like getting all emotional, thanking me and everything. It's like, man, you just don't know what you've done for me. Like, I really appreciate it. And he's like, I had a good feeling about you that I could trust you the minute that you told me that you were willing to walk away if it didn't work for me and you. And I was like, it's got to be a win-win for everybody. Yeah. Even if that means me telling you that I'm not your guy. So that built so much credibility with him that when I made him the offer, he was like, this is probably as good as it's going to get if I want it as easy as I truly want it. Mm-hmm. So we made him the offer. Yeah, let's do it. Closed 14 days later. Mm-hmm. Easy.
There we go. So, okay, we got some questions people have too. So I want to go answer that too really quick. But this has been really cool, getting you all on here. I do want to let everybody on here know. I don't think you're talking about basically we're 2 days from now, we're doing one of our biggest announcements. Outside of XLeads and M2M, this is one of our biggest announcements.
It's going to be a good one.
By the way, they know what it is.
It's going to be big.
Is it going to be big?
It's going to be astronomically huge. It's going to be big.
About to shut the whole game down.
It's I'm just saying, I'm going to hype it up. But hop on Thursday, 5:00. We have a crazy announcement. What are your thoughts? What can you say about it without getting in trouble?
It's probably best I just don't open my mouth.
You gotta say something about it.
It's like everything else we've done. So the I don't call them attacks. I just talk it like do what's best for the wholesalers out there. So instead of us telling you about the fear of everything going wrong in wholesaling, we talk about everything goes right because that's 98% of the time. So we don't focus on negative stuff. Number two, you saw what we did with the whole coaching industry. We just flipped it on its head. First with freewholesaling.com, obviously what we do with M2M. And then we decided we got tired of the software game and we said, hey, we're going to open a software company. They said, you're absolutely nuts. You can't do it. We did it. We're now basically second largest with just over a year with no software experience, but we're wholesalers. We know what we want. The most important thing is the end product. And now we're the first ones to actually bring down software pricing. Where do you think we're going to go next? Yeah. Where do you think we're going to go next? And
so FYI, so we have probably one of the biggest announcements on Thursday, and it's gonna be pretty dang exciting. And so it's my last big one before version 4, which you guys know version 4 is too. It's insanity. So I just want to let everyone know you got to be on Thursday, 5:00 Eastern time. You are mind blown. You got to be there live. That's all I'm going to say. But okay, let's answer some questions. I just want to let everybody know.
Let's get to it.
So a couple things I want to let everybody know. Okay, first and foremost, if you want to learn wholesaling real estate for free, I'll put it on the bottom real quick. You go to freewholesaling.com. You learn how to wholesale real estate for free. Now, once you're in freewholesaling.com and you start getting some deals, the whole point of this is once you start getting some motion, right? As the kids say, once you start getting some deals, then you're going to put that money into motion. It's like motion. Okay, whatever. But basically, once you start getting some deals, then you start pouring that into marketing. That is where M2M comes in. So M2M is basically, a paid school group. Korey and Evan are basically the main coaches there. They help run most of it. And the whole point of it is basically, hey, you want to get a deal in 90 days. If we can't get you a deal in 90 days, you get your money back, right? It's really, really cheap too. But the whole point of this is once you get a deal, then you got no excuse not to join M2M. Now, you don't need to get a deal to join M2M.
No, we got plenty of people in there trying to get their first deal.
Yeah.
But they're willing to commit to a process.
Yeah. So the point is, you got no money, go to freewholesaling.com. I teach people how to wholesale real estate for free. Those are all free strategies. It is a grind. It's not the most fun thing in the world to do, but it's really, really awesome when you have no cash, no experience. Sweat equity. Yeah. But if you want to get your first deal in 90 days guaranteed, and you can spend $300, $400, $500 a month in marketing, Korey and Evan will personally mentor you. They'll personally coach you, and they will guarantee you a deal in 90 days, or you'll get all your money back. So that's what M2M is. But I want to start off because we're getting a ton of questions here. So I'll have you answer this. I'll answer the first part. But what is it like for someone who joins M2M all the way up to their first deal? What are the options? What's the plan going forward for someone who is just joining? Like, what's the whole process?
Yeah, sure.
I'll chime in.
Okay, so the second you join M2M, we really went into detail on all these things and tried to make it as simple but as streamlined as possible, okay? So the second you join an M2M, you're going to get a message from our team, and it's going to be one of the CSMs letting you know where you need to be going for your onboarding. After your onboarding meeting that pretty much breaks down everything that's going to be happening inside of M2M, you're going to get a 30-day sprint sheet. And on that sheet, it's going to break down exactly what you need to be doing day by day. And there's video, checklist. And it's going to be saying, okay, once you're at this point, watch this video and do this. And here's the resources. And then they click into it. And they just keep going through that until you hit your 30-day. Now, working towards after the 30 days, all that time you're going through that, the classroom material, right? So we broke down every aspect practically of the whole business that you could think of. All the acquisitions, all the marketing strategies, super detailed marketing strategies on like niche lists, right? And how to implement these strategies, where to get all the data, what to do with it. We give you breakdowns on system setup. And there's some stuff inside of M2M, like packs that we have that you can only get inside of M2M that make it like super simple to get everything rolling, right? So after that, you get, lead management protocol, which gives you guys extreme detail on when to follow up with leads, where to put them when they hit like a certain place when motivation wise, all these different things, like literally step by step, everything you need to know in the business. And Korey can add to that, but I just want to let you know, like everything that you could ever possibly need is in there. So
Also, you can DM you guys.
You can just DM
Also, you can DM them any questions you possibly have every single day.
I can DM you guys in there too.
You can DM us too.
So just to add a little bit here on what Evan was saying, like he said, when you come in, you go through like a systemized process of, okay, where are you at? Let's get rolling. Let's start taking some action. But we want to make sure that you know everything you need to know. We take all of the guesswork out of, okay, what do I need to learn next? I've got my CRM set up. What do I need to do now? Okay, I know how to pull a list. Now what? We give you the 30-day sprint, like he was saying. and it has everything broken down for you for the first 4 weeks, task after task of things, actionable things that you need to learn and do, with all the supporting course material and videos and everything that you need to be able to track your progress through that. Once you get to the other side of that 30-day sprint, you're ready to start marketing strong and just hitting the ground running. And then from that point forward, it's like we're just helping you with situations as they come up and help you, perfect your craft, I would say, and start to improve yourself until you get that first deal. And then you get that one-on-one guidance and everything to take that deal down. And throughout that whole time period from day one to, as long as you stay in, if you have a question, you message it to the M2M team chat. Evan and I respond on there. We have our customer success managers that are in there helping with just everyday normal tasks as well. So we have a whole team there that's dedicated to making sure that you can close that deal and that you're successful. And even if there's some people that may think like, oh, I've already done 4 or 5 deals. Like I probably know what I'm doing. I promise you, there's stuff in there that will benefit you immensely.
We have people in there that have done like 20 deals that are like, wow, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah. I mean,
and one of the big things that I haven't seen anywhere, and I bet you Zach and Rick can say as well, we do 3 community calls a week. 3 with all with one with Korey, one with me, Zach or Rick. And we get on there and we're hammering topics and questions the whole time. Right. So if you don't you're going to get your questions answered when you message us. On top of us messaging you back, you get to get on 3 community calls a week.
On top of that too, we have 2 customer success managers, and their whole job is to message you every week to make sure that you are doing your KPIs. And then they report those KPIs to them and then us, and we look at it, make sure you get your numbers done. So enough M2M stuff. If you enjoy it, just go to joinm2m.com. Can I skip realestate.com and go straight into M2M? Yes, you can. You just got to learn the basics at realestate.com. Go to M2M. We can guarantee your deal in 90 days. That's legit. The whole that guys, everyone here on the X plan is in M. So if you had the X plan, you get M2M for free. 70% of everyone today, I said, who here has done a deal? There's never been a room I've ever seen in my entire life where 70% of them have done a wholesale real estate deal. Made at least 20, 30 grand.
That's like the body of the community. Like that's so much value right there. If I could have been in a community with people that had that many winners in it when I started.
First month, 250 contracts. First month. Crazy.
What else do we need to say? I mean,
There we go. Let's see here. Just joined XLeads family. I'm very excited to join M2M. There we go, Jonathan. Can't wait to have you in there.
Awesome.
$5 for 1,000 XLeads Skiptraces. You get 97 for 25,000.
Yeah.
So it's a way better deal.
Yeah.
How can I reschedule my onboarding in M2M? Yeah, you get an onboarding call when you join. Just message Ricardo or Adriana, and they'll help you out. We had somebody on here.
Also, too, if you are having some trouble getting your onboarding schedule or whatever, you can message in M2M, the M2M team chat. Just let us know, like, hey, I need to get my onboarding rescheduled, and we can make sure one of the CSMs reach out to you and get that going for you.
Y'all decapitated them. I'm telling you, I didn't say it in the thing, but we're ending an entire wholesaling industry. Yeah. Like this whole industry of people doing this one thing. It's like when we showed you what's going on Thursday, you're like, wait, we're going to have to change the whole M2M process. I said, yep. It's over for that thing. And you're like, oh, wait. So I'm like, yeah, what's the point anymore? And so we're destroying a whole wholesaling basically industry on Thursday. That's going to be really fun. And it benefits you want to hit. My hint is what I've always done. I've always provided. One hint I'll give is what we always do is we always advance the wholesaling industry. So all the wholesaling softwares were overcharging people, under delivering. So we decided to make a software that was cheaper than everyone and higher quality. And it advanced the wholesaling industry. We included Go High Level. Everyone's trying to copy me now. We included Go High Level basically. So we made a CRM, and now people don't buy CRMs. They just get it all in one now. And next, this thing, it's right there.
Max value for the best price.
That's it.
It's gonna be interesting.
iBlackout had that's a funny name. Oh boy. He has a deal in Detroit. I told him to hit up Evan. Message him in school.
Yeah.
He should be able to do it. And then he says he'll join M2M if he can get the deal done.
I got tons of buyers in Detroit. So let me know. Send me the details on that.
Yeah, shoot Evan the message and say, hey, I'm the guy who was asking about the Detroit deal on the live, so he'll know because he gets a ton of messages in
He's not going to
school.
look for eye black out
Yeah.
in school. So
Yeah,
he's not gonna know who you are.
Make sure you let him know that it's you, so that way he knows. And like Evan
Yeah.
said, he's got like tons of buyers. We've done a lot of virtual deals in
Yeah.
Detroit.
Yeah.
The last deal I did was like $25K.
In
Yeah.
Detroit?
Yeah.
Gee,
Yeah.
what was the contract price?
So the contract price was 90, and we sold it for 115.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was an easy deal too.
Talk about Detroit.
Vacant.
So
Probate.
Detroit's a tough
Okay.
market.
It's
It's
a
it's
tough
pocketed.
market.
It's pocketed for sure.
it's
Yeah.
the funny part is you struggled so hard in Pennsylvania.
Oh my gosh.
So hard locally, and then you go. This is why I hate Pittsburgh. We used to get 16 contracts a month in Pittsburgh, and
Yeah.
I sucked at closing them.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it because I sucked at wholesaling. What's up with that area, dude?
So Pittsburgh people don't take this offense because my mother's from Pittsburgh.
Oh God.
So it's just everyone's like so close together. They kind of just don't like each other, and everybody has a kind of like a bad attitude. And I don't feel like I'm targeting you guys in Pittsburgh, but it's tough there, right? So
Is it even a good local market?
it can be, but again, it's like pocketed. You have to be in certain. Like
I
I
know
would
one guy on the
prefer-
internet, bro. I'm making $100K a month in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
I know
I've
guys
never
in
heard
Philly. I know guys in the Poconos area. I
Yeah.
know guys in Allentown. I know guys all over Pennsylvania. I know
That's a
dudes from
valid point.
Harrisburg,
Yeah.
Berks County,
Yeah.
everywhere in Pennsylvania except for Pittsburgh. And if you give me a deal in Newcastle, I'm just gonna block you.
Yeah. So no, Pittsburgh's one of those kind of like weird markets. It's super like one street might be worth like 250K when it's done. One street might be worth 90, and the other one's worth 500. And you're all three streets across from each other.
Some football throwing distance
It's
of each
so
other.
hard to comp
Well,
anything.
it's Western PA too.
Yeah.
Erie's hard too.
Yeah, Erie's tough.
That whole like, dude. Okay, to be honest too, Youngstown, which is Eastern Ohio, sucks also.
Mhm.
I've tried there, sucks there, and I love Ohio. I don't know what's up with that like Eastern Ohio, Western Pennsylvania,
Mhm.
sucks.
Speaking about Erie, I got a lead in Erie one time when I was buying a watch. I was sitting. She got me this another watch, and we're sitting there talking about it. And she was like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm in real estate." She goes, "Oh, I need to sell my house." I'm like, "Oh." I was like, "Does it
It's like
need
you're
work?"
the only one that they had ever spoken to that buys houses.
And I took her contact information, and she never really ended up like we spoke a little bit, but I could never just get her to commit to an appointment. But it was interesting. I got a lead that way one time.
Here we go.
Don't go buying watches for leads, though. It doesn't. It's only
Junior says, apart for the 678 for 3 months of M2M, how much time does someone need to work full time generally set aside to make it work? Here's the thing about M2M, like you don't have to make any calls. You can do some texting, but like maybe now, like honestly, instead of M2M, and I'm not saying this to like make it sound sexy, but like 2 or 3 hours a day, maybe if you can do 5 to 8. I mean, the whole point is we take care of the marketing for you. You don't need to work on, you don't have to make any calls. We will produce you 25 to 50 leads a month on top of your texting, which if you're lazy, I'll set you up with the AI.
Yeah.
We also have a custom XLeads workflows for the texting. It's pretty dang cool. But the whole point of it is we take care of the marketing for you. So if the marketing's all taken care of, then how do you close? We have the whole LMP process, and it's 2 or 3 hours a day at most. Pretty dang simple.
The idea was for you guys that don't have much time was how can we make marketing affordable for you guys to go out here? So marketing takes a lot of time unless you're like doing SMS, right? So if you have to sit there and cold call, like majority of your time is going to be consumed doing that. And you might get burnt out with your regular job of cold calling. But if your sole responsibility is to just reach out to the leads that you got from your cold calling VAs, then that's a lot easier. It takes a lot less time, and you're able to can just work with people who actually need to sell rather than you being on the phone with people that you're trying to see if they're even interested, right? Be on the phone with people that want to sell and just try to close them. You're more likely to just close a deal a lot faster, and you're not going to get burnt out anywhere near as quick.
There we go. Seven-figure flipper says, I need to close a deal as soon as possible. So I'm going to ask, so if you had somebody who's broke and you need to close a deal ASAP, what are you telling them to do right now?
Right now.
By the way, you've coached 200. You coached 250 people get their first deal last month. So
yeah,
I can only do one thing, like one strategy. That's it. I would I would get my hands on some government lists. I would stack them together.
Specific.
So I would look for tax delinquent properties to start, kind of like what we said earlier.
Yeah.
I love tax delinquent leads.
Sorry, I don't get ADHD on you, but how are you stacking them?
So, okay. I'll tell what I would do, and then we'll kind of get into how I'm going to do it. So, because there's two ways, whether if you have like XLeads and you're going to do it in the CRM, or you don't have anything and you need to do it all manually through sheets. So there's like technically the free way. But actually this whole way, you could do this whole strategy here for free. But so I would get my hands on the tax list to start, 2+ years delinquent. I would try to see what other list I could get my hands on.
Yeah.
If you could get your hands on like some code violations, water shutoffs, and some other stuff that you could put against it, that would be good. But what list you're going to stack together will vary based on what you can get your hands on. But let's say you can get your hands on the tax delinquencies, the code violations, the water shutoffs, and if you have XLeads, you can get the vacancy data too. Yeah. But I would look for properties that are on at least 2 out of those 4, if not 3 out of those 4 lists right there. And I would go and put sticky notes on the door. Now, if they were vacant, though, I would go and put sticky notes on the mailing address door for the owner of that property.
To the mailing address.
If the property was vacant, non-owner occupied, and they lived elsewhere, I would go and put a sticky note on the mailing address. So where the actual owner of the vacant property lives at.
Perfect.
Yeah, I would put that there. Now, when it comes to how you are going to stack those lists together, you can do this completely for free on the back end, or you can do this within your XLeads with how you tag the lists and everything like that. But all you got to do the free way is you have your couple lists in Google Sheets, you put them together, and you're looking for duplicates. Once you identify a duplicate, hey, well, it's on at least more than one of the lists.
Yeah.
And it's like super easy. You can do it all completely for free. Then if you have to call them for free, use your Google Voice. You can you can do the whole thing for free if you wanted. But, again, that's like getting into like all manual sweat equity. Like if you get that deal, you're definitely going to earn it.
Yeah.
But if you need a deal like me, that's what I would do right now if I wanted to get a deal. Or
If you didn't have a budget.
Okay, well, if you don't have a budget, then I can't say what I was getting ready to say then. I was going to say if I had a little bit of money to spend and I wanted to guarantee my chance of getting a deal, I'd probably buy some PPL leads.
There you go.
Got it.
What about you?
As far as me securing my first deal, if I need to close
What
a
you
deal
know now?
with what I know now,
I'm curious to see what you say on this one.
honestly, like you just took my whole
I
answer.
took
but
your whole answer.
I'll give another answer.
I'll take your answer.
So me personally, I would just go out there and drive for dollars. I would, you can do it virtually. There's some crazy, cool stuff that you can do with this stuff, but I would go out there. If you have a good local market and you think there's deals to be had there, just go out there, start tagging them. You can also leave sticky notes.
You can do both of those things at the same time.
At the same time. And then once I build that list out, I'm just going to start calling them, and I'm going to recycle that list until I get a couple leads, and I'm going to go on those appointments, and I'm going to try to close them out. Because one, I've set eyes on it. I can go in person. I don't have to worry about getting a bird dog.
Yeah.
So if that was local and I wanted to get a deal ASAP, that's probably the route that I would go. Aside from what he said, I like the other bit.
Common denominator here, though, is like either way, we're trying to get on the phone ASAP with people who actually have some factors that tells us that more than likely they need to sell the property. They have something verifiable and documented going on with either themselves or the house or just their financial situation. Like we know coming into that situation that there's motivation. So that is the most likely chance that those people need to sell. And we're going to laser focus in on situations like that. That's going to be the fastest way to get to the deal.
There you go.
Can you virtually drive for dollars? Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah. What would you do? Everyone wants to know.
Oh, it's simple. It's the same thing I've been saying for the last 5. Just go to freewholesaling.com. We teach you the whole thing there. And from the strategy set, I would get my car if you have that capability to do it in your local market. That's kind of to me the fast.
Yeah.
So if I had to pop into Tennessee or PA, I say, dude, get me in the car, show me the area, show me some blue collar neighborhoods. Let's go get 300 leads. We're gonna do sticky notes. We're gonna do the whole thing. We're gonna cold call them, skip trace them, rip it through XLeads, and get it done. So you got it. Like the biggest thing, if you like, I find with M2M is you got to create your own self urgency.
Yeah.
Like stop trying the wholesale and just turn it into a must. If it's a must, you'll get it done. You brush your teeth in the morning because your parents bugged you, and eventually you go, you know what? I don't want my teeth to rot out. This is better for me. Yeah. And if you understand finding a wholesale thing makes you better, makes your family better, and you can change the legacy and the trajectory of your entire family. It started with me back in 2003. This is like a wild dream to think it's gone like this far, and to think it'll affect your kids. And when you decide to have kids, and Zach's kids, I'm really scared for them because this guy's he's only known one mission. And the other really cool thing is I come from a wrestling background. You guys know Zach did, Evan did is, and one of the reasons me and Evan connected, we just talked about it. We talked about how tough and challenging it is. And it's kind of like people in the military, they understand that. I know Korey has a military background. It's, guys, you're in a fight when you do this. It's not a physical fight, but if you really want to change everybody in your family, like one of the biggest gifts I gave to my wife is I just paid off the mortgage one day. And she just looked at me like tears coming down her eyes. She goes, we can do that? I go, yeah, we could do it almost every month. But that took me 15 years to get to that point and do it. And so remember, you have to actually show people how to do it. You can't tell them how to do it. So I was told my entire life, I decided I can't deal with this anymore. I made a decision. You guys seen the result. We're approaching 24 years. If you're just bold enough to make a decision, you want to do wholesaling, it can change your life. And it's not only your life, it's everybody that's around you. So if you want to do it and you got the guts to do it, go for it. I couldn't ask for a better group of people to work with. And I love this business every day.
You know what's something I took from you guys that stuck with me forever? And it still does to this day. And the reason why I was able to tell myself to keep pushing forward. You guys said this on a live stream one time, and I was like, that is perfect. You guys said you get to a point where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
You're so tired of telling yourself that I'm going to do this and then not doing it. You're so tired of being at your job saying that you're going to put the effort in, and then you go home and now you're sitting down watching Netflix. You get to a point like, okay, when am I going to hold myself accountable? Yeah. You know, I can try to tell everybody. I can say the reason I haven't gotten a deal is because of everything else, not me. And that's that's the wrong mindset to have, right? Yeah. So I just wanted to put that out there. Like, that's one of the biggest things that they ever said that stuck with me till this day.
There's all kinds of stuff that I can think of like that over the years that they have told me. And like Rick really poured a lot into me over the last couple of years, and Zach did as well. But Rick always seemed to just tolerate me a little bit more than Zach did. So he always was just like, you know, he's like the dad I never had, you know. But anyways, so it kind of goes along with the post I made at MTM the other day. You know, it's just like an inspirational post telling people like, hey, you got to make this stuff personal. Like your why, it has to be personal. Because at the end of the day, like you need that to fuel off of when sometimes it's just like some of the stuff that we have to do. It's like, it's not sexy. It's not always fun. It's like some of it's tedious. Like some of it's sweat equity work, like, you know, but at the end of the day, if it moves the needle, you got to do it. Mm-hmm. You have no option.
But I guess to bring it back to what we were pretty much going to initially talk about within Korey and I's business, how we're doing 100K plus a month. We do usually on the niche strategies, we do about 1 to 2 deals on those a month with an average assignment fee of $30,000. And then we have the straight regular marketing fee, like deals that come in from direct mail. And then we have some JV deals that we work with a lot of people on. So it's really just compounding different strategies, and they all come together. And if you're good at negotiations, and you practice those things, getting your average assignment fee to go up is a lot more simple than you think, right?
And we kind of we would start with one strategy and felt like we really perfected and honed that into the best of our abilities. And then we did the same thing with another strategy and then another strategy. So now it's like we're dialed in on a multifaceted marketing plan, and everything's just doing great. But it still requires a lot of work from Evan and I. We have to make sure that the people that are underneath us do what they're supposed to do. We have to hold ourselves accountable every day. It's like now at this point, it's like we still have a lot of decisions, small level all the way up to high level decisions that we have to make every day. And it's like we're doing great in this business, but it's not time to lay down.
No,
we have to keep putting in the work. We have to show up every day ready to put in the work like it's our first day. And my opinion is that's what's going to separate the winners from the losers in this space. Are you willing to take the action? I remember when I was first starting, how much Zach and Rick, I don't want to say harped on that, but talked about it to the point that I felt like I was I got to do the work. It's not an option. And that's like in my mind, that's how I made it personal. It's like, I have to do this like for me and my family, you know? So
Korey told me one time that he was like, had a little bit of money left, and he was doing some deals. He had a little bit of money left after marketing and stuff. He's like, I have to get a deal or my family doesn't eat this month.
yeah, that was whenever I was
And
like,
what did he do to make that deal happen? He didn't just sit around hoping for it to happen. He put his head down and he just worked and did everything that it took to make that deal happen until it happened. And from there, he was able to scale up, delegate systems, and take a step away from the business. But you just got to put your head down and work. That's what it takes.
Yeah.
Get the knowledge and then work. That's the best thing I can just tell you guys. Just persevere through it and just make it happen.
You know, there was many times, I would say probably this all happened like within the first year. Anything after that, I don't really remember something like this happening. But just whenever I was first getting started, like within those first like 5-6 deals maybe, that no one was coming to save me. I was the only one I could count on. I had no option but to make it happen or figure out a way that I was going to tell my wife and children why I could not buy groceries next week or next month. I had no option. So it wasn't like, oh, well, I'm tired today, so I'm going to lay down and I'll start trying to get my deal tomorrow. It's like, I remember one night, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I went driving for dollars that day in like a huge day, tagged hundreds of properties. And I was up in the middle of the night, one by one, skip tracing them on True People Search because I didn't have a whole lot of money to use for skip tracing. It's like, I had to make it happen. And my wife woke up and was like, what are you doing? I was like, skip tracing. She's like, all right. She went right back to bed. But I remember that stands out to me because I remember off that list, I did 2 deals off that list. And it was like 350 properties that I tagged that day. And I did 2 deals off of that. And most people, they would have gave up and, you know, skip traced the first half of the list and would have called through it, wouldn't get that immediate gratification. They would have just never even fooled with the second half of the list. They would have gave up, you know, but again, you just got to keep putting in the work, show up every day like your life literally depends on it, and don't make excuses for yourself.
Nope.
Just get after it.
There we go. All righty. One last question, I guess, for Evan. I'll answer it. I'll see how Evan does it. But so when you qualify on price virtually, how can you still cushion the seller to know that you are lower? So even when you offer 30K lower, they still hear you out. So the best way I can always cushion a lowball offer is I like to do a reverse price anchor. So I always like this. He's like, hey, I was talking to my partner Rick, and he said he wanted to buy the property for around this much, right? A price anchor, traditional one's like, well, in the perfect world, I would not buy this for $100,000, and then they yell at you. But he's like, oh, I said that in the perfect world. Well, I don't like that. I like doing the reverse price anchor, but like, there's so many ways to cushion it. But like, you should always lowball, always. And if you don't lowball, you don't make the big bucks. You've had plenty of 6-figure wholesale deals.
And it's not even that your lowball is the offer. You're just gauging interest. That's not the offer, right? So, there's a couple like Zach's way is great, and the way that I do it is kind of the same idea, but I just take a look quickly at the market and what things you're going for, and I'll just say, hey, well, I've seen other people like similar properties to yours. They've been buying them for this. I mean, if I offered you that or someone offered you that, what would you tell them? And they're going to be like, well, I'd probably tell them no. And then, okay, well, then you're not qualified to me. I mean, we can have a little bit deeper of a conversation, but you just disqualified yourself for me. Or it's the other way around. They're going to be like, well, I don't really have, and this is verbatim an example. He said, I'm not in a position to tell anybody no. And we did
that verbatim several times.
How much did we make on that deal? I can't even remember.
It was a big fee.
It was a big fee. And so that's just the reason. And like, to answer your question, so that they're prepped for the you to come in lower, just qualify them up front, tell them like, hey, with what I see with the market going on right now, I know I'm going to have to come in a bit under that price. I don't know exactly where yet, but once I have a chance to talk to my partner, I can let you know. I just know I'm going to have to come in, probably somewhere, around this area, but I'm not for sure. And if that's an area where they're willing to entertain, then obviously you're going to have to, like, you can come down. You'll probably have to be a little bit under that. You're just gauging to see if they'll work with you still yet. Right. So when you come back and you're giving that offer, you're not just smacking their knees out from under them. They know they're ready for you to come in lower, so they're not offended. You tell them up front, Because if somebody's truthful with me up front, I'm not going to harp on them on the back end because it's not like they lied to me and just got my hopes up.
Yeah.
So that's just how I do it.
It's all about just being transparent on the front end, so that way they know what to expect on the back end. They don't get that sticker shock, you know.
Yeah.
They don't feel like like you're a 6'2", 300-pound lineman that just tackled them out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So,
There we go. All right. So, guys, that is what we go. Oh, there we go. That's what I got live today. If you want to join M2M, get your first deal in 90 days. Go to joinm2m.com and come Thursday, guys. It's big day Thursday. We're pumped up
Literally
for it.
don't miss Thursday.
You don't want to miss it. And obviously, it's pretty big. So I'm really excited for it. And so, guys, make sure you do me a favor. Smash the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you soon. This is Zachin signing out.
Ricken signing out.
Evan Hamilton signing out.
Korey Whitley signing out.
All right. See you guys soon. Thanks, guys.